Welcome, folks, to Dwarf Fortress. This is the town of CraftRiddle, episode 32. Early winter. Winter has come, ladies and gentlemen. It's the first of Moonstone. And we're doing okay. We're waiting. Basically, I'm just waiting for the next caravan to show up, which will be showing up, well, probably next autumn. We have 110 dwarves, and 32 of those are children, which means we have a lot of people not doing any work. We have some meat, a lot of drink, and things are going semi-okay. We have a drawbridge that works. We have a farming system that doesn't seem to, because they put the seeds up here. And a lot of them are unhappy. But the fact is we have plenty of food. Let's see, stocks. Prepared food. Beep, 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 beep. So we have prepared meals of 831. Probably a lot of them are just weird. Walnut roasts, pecan roast, a lot of seeds. Deer meat, hey! A few things seem to have gone rotten. So let's tell them to dump those so nobody eats them. And let's see about the drinks. And we have 2,068 drinks. And a lot of that, there's dwarven wine, which I believe is from the mushrooms. Plump helmets. But the rest of it, let's face it, is from the forests. Because we're in a forest. A big forest. Let's go up so you can see. See, that's the trees and everything. There's the fortress. More trees. And they're just plum trees and pecan and all that stuff. So I'm not even sure why we have farming anymore, except for the fact that some of the dwarves like dwarven wine. But we're barely getting any wine out of the dwarven wine, out of the mushrooms. Growing our own stuff is being outweighed by gathering and fishing and hunting. So there's that. In fact, I think that might be a little bit of a overpowering. That might be a glitch. They might want to correct that. On the other hand, they're talking about how farming's too easy, and I'm not really sure I would agree with that. If you guys have been watching my other videos, yeah, farming doesn't seem to be as easy as it's cut out to be. And I have plenty of farmers. As you can see from the blinking, some of them are unhappy. Even the blinking ones are sometimes happy. It's a little confusing. Dwarves aren't the smartest of people. They have conflicts within their conflicts within their conflicts. Even while they're happy, they'll sometimes get mad for remembering something that happened a long time ago, and so on and so forth. But I'm just happy that sooner or later, see, we have the working drawbridge right there, and what I want to do is get the hospital set up and the well set up with drawbridges. And I think that will cover it. I mean, that would be, from my point of view, a complete fortress. And that would be the end of this Let's Play. I'd retire, let the fortress become whatever it wants to be. The dwarves would take over. Now, I know from other games that when somebody decides to end a fortress, you can abandon it, which means everybody flees, goes back to wherever they came from. Or you can retire, which means you're no longer in control and the dwarves do whatever they want. And a lot of times, they abandon it too, or a lot of them go off on their own. But if we ended this in a few episodes, what I'd like to try is an actually normal dwarf fortress. Not a challenge dwarf fortress, but actually go... Let's see if I can find the right... Nope. Actually go... Yep. There's the maps. The world. So, yep. So here's the world. That was us. That's up here. We're fabulous land, the forest of adventure. Brilliance. Brilliance of waves. Salted standard. And here is the other dwarves. They're all on the mainland. There's a... looks like a goblin. A few goblins. Humans. Let's see. More... whoop. I think we're in dwarf land now. Oh, elves. So... here's polar, South Pole here. Desert. Dwarves have finally kind of gone into a little peninsula there. Huh. So, you know, this is where I'd like to go. So if I end this game, I'd like to go someplace around here on the mainland. The idea being... the idea being that I would actually interact with the rest of society. Not just the dwarves from my mainland, from my homeland, but the humans, and the elves, and hostile goblins, and traders, and caravans. Traders and caravans, same thing. Adventurers, bards, traveling troops, singers, forgotten beasts, because they can't get to me because I refuse to dig down because of the water tables in my way. But if I could get to a mountain, I could get stone, and I could get down into the caravans, the caves and all that. So I picked a challenge, which is somewhat frustrating, but also, in a way, I'm kind of safe because a lot of that stuff isn't happening to me. I'm on an island. So in one way, I'm showing you guys the most frustrating way to play this game. On the other hand, if I finish this game and start a new one, I could show you a more mainstream game that has a lot more interest in it. You'll find a lot more interesting, a lot more story. Not that there isn't a story here, I don't think I'm delivering it properly. I mean, we're talking about a wooden frontier fortress that basically... I mean, I was joking, they're Native Americans, but they're acting more like Russians sometimes. But, like I said, this is just a little update, and I'm just kind of speaking out loud about my thoughts. So I do think it'll be a few more episodes, and then I'm done. And then I'll try to actually have a regular fort. A fortress, dwarf fortress fort. One that actually, you know, makes sense. Is that a book up there? No, just some eggs. Alright. So, you know, one that actually has a tavern where people actually visit from outside the city. One that has a library and a museum where travelers come from around to read and visit. One where the temples, I can make a temple complex, not just one or two temples, because I could barely get the wood. And yes, they could barely get the wood. I would wood. You know, I can actually make something that looks more like an underground Athens than an above ground. Well, let's face it, this is Sparta. If it was run by whiners. And we only have one king and he's not even here. I mean, we've done a pretty good job of just wood. You know, we've got the temples and the offices and, you know, the place for the barracks, and we're getting the bedrooms in, and everything's being enclosed. You know, we're getting there. We're getting there. And if I was just playing this by myself, I would have probably finished it already. Because I would have just not bothered to record. You know, I just played. But I like actually recording it a little bit. You know, this is... If people in the future are like, oh, can we do an island one? Well, yeah, you can. Look, here's an island one. Oh, well, maybe I don't want to do an island one. Why are you blinking so much? Okay. The brewer is bored. Wish I could make something. We'll go brew something. And the baby, what's wrong with the baby? Baby... Yeah, left foot was mangled beyond recognition. Well, it got into a major it was hurt. I don't know if it was a badger or what, but wow. She's 4 months old and she's already been mangled. So, yeah, probably not happy. But yeah, just a little update. Waiting for winter to go through. Don't worry, there's no undead. And let me explain. In Dwarf Fortress, there are evil biomes where things might come back to life. There's good biomes where you might run into unicorns. So yes, you could have a reenactment of Game of Thrones if you wanted to. There are also programs out there that allow you to build the map to make it look like anything you want. So you could have a world which looks like Game of Thrones. You could have a world that looked like Earth. You could have a world that looked like Middle Earth. So yeah, you could pretty much do anything you wanted. There's mods out there that allow you to play Fallout, Dwarf Fortress, My Little Pony, Dwarf Fortress, Fallout, My Little Pony, Dwarf Fortress. Somebody I think was trying to make Dune once. There is Wastelands and Borderland and all sorts of mods. It's just weird. There's mods that allow you to have guns and gunpowder and magic. So, yeah, maybe when I retire, I'll try adventure mode so I could show you what adventure mode looks like and show you how big this world actually is. Because for now, we've been looking at it right here. I mean, this is what we've been looking at. This has been our world right here. It's as big as we've gotten. But in adventure mode, I can actually like walk around, attack things, trade with people, sing, get drunk. It's basically a first-person adventure in the world you've made. And if I actually could swim far enough and strong enough, I could visit this fortress. I could even start here probably, but then I'd have a hard time getting to any place because we're out in the middle of nowhere. But it's a very complex game, very wonderful. I fear that my Let's Play is not doing it justice. No, let me state that again. My Let's Play is not doing it justice. Are you stealing a backpack? What are you doing? What do you have? What are you doing? What? What are you doing? I feel so good over the long term. A MF, married female, 608. Bridge Tundras? Bridge Tundras has been under a great deal of stress. So she's happy and stressful at the same time. Wonderful. But what are you doing? I mean, you're carrying something, but what are you doing? Store item in bin. Okay, but what's that item? Oh, it's not a quiver, I don't think. Are you? Left hand's a copper crossbow. You're a wrestler. And you got a quiver. But what are you taking? Well, I don't know. But, yeah. So this is, like I said, just an update. Mostly a babbling out thought thing. If you've actually watched all the videos up to this point, oh my god, I'm so sorry. This is probably one of the more boring games I've played. So, yeah. Next to maybe King of Dragon Pass, because I could never read half the names. Of course, this is Dwarf Fortress where they have a different language, so God forbid I could even try to read those. Yeah, well. Live and learn. Next time I'll do a non-commentary one with just captions all over the place. Yeah. And Dwarf Fortress music, which will drive you nuts. But thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, this is more of an update than an actual episode. At least we are not starving. Let's look at the kitchen. See, barley. Barley water is good for you. I mean, it is good for you. Yeah. And we're cooking some of the seeds, but not all the seeds. And we got a lot of bayberry wine. But not as much as we have plum wine. Wow. And wow, we have a lot of meat. Deer. A lot of fish, pond, birds. Blind cave bear lung? That must have been an import. Giant sparrow, import. Ostrich, import. Sea otter? No, we actually have killed a lot of sea otters. And a lot of trout, squid. Yeah, buffalo, buffalo cheese. Did we have a buffalo? Well, we have a lot of turkeys. Where's the chicken eggs? Don't we have a lot of chicken eggs too? What do you think? Would that be hen? Hen eggs, yes. Not a lot of hen eggs. Huh. Well, like I said, just a little update. We're still alive. We're still working. So, and boy, does that look colorful, doesn't it? But that's actually a fortress with a lot of little dead bodies, dead rats and mice around there. And I think there's some blood all over the place. Doesn't look like anybody's been puking though. You can usually tell if this was all green, that'd be puke. Not joking. If you have stone and it's green, it's probably puke, because they don't like the sunlight. But I think most of them are kind of adjusted to it by now, so it's not as bad. But they still don't like it. Dwarves are not meant to be out in the sunlight like this, so. And we still need more beds, I'm pretty sure. Alright, I've been delaying this, procrastinating, ending an episode which really has nothing to add except for the fact that winter has come. And like I said, in a game of Dwarf Fortress, a normal game of Dwarf Fortress, winter might actually trigger a goblin army or an undead army. So, or a caravan of some sort. So I'll just see you guys when something happens. Oops. That's not what I wanted to push. There I go. So, have a good day, good night, or a good evening, night's evening, same thing. Good afternoon, good early morning, whatever. Good, insert whatever time period you want, okay? Bye-bye.